When I was introduced to the Metal Gear Solid series, I thought it went 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, or V, depending on your political affiliation. I was unaware that there was an entirely different canon game without a number in its name, from a console that was portable. A lot of you said it was essential to the series, so I decided to give it a try. I played through the game, had some feelings, and now I'm here.
It's him.
During production at Konami, Peace Walker was considered to be the 5th Metal Gear game, showing that the creators consider Peace Walker essential for the series, taking ideas from previous Portal Metal Gear games. I'm looking at you, Portable Ops. Soldier recruitment and co-op were very important and implemented into Peace Walker. Kojima Productions also had very little time to produce the game, being given only over a year, which led to the game having cutscenes based on the art of Yoji Shinkawa. Side note, Yoji Shinkawa has been the main artist for the Metal Gear Solid series since the first Metal Gear Solid, and his art and direction is something I have never seen before. I felt like his name needed to be mentioned. Anyways, the game had to focus on gameplay mechanics instead of the technical impressiveness that the Metal Gear Solid games are known for. This is fine, because if the game is less technically impressive, the game should be fun to play. Entirely important to mention that Kojima still wanted to step down from the Metal Gear series as a director. The game takes place in the 1970s, and apparently none of the people at Kojima Productions really knew how to write the setting, so Kojima was called in again and, directed the game. Kojima Productions released Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker on June 8th of 2010 to every single PSP owner on the planet. Now, was it fun? Spoilers for this point forward for Peace Walker. I am not kidding. First things first, gotta make my display name Bigdea represent the cause.
Yes! Hell yeah!
You were also given the option to change the control scheme. I just used the one the game recommended. Next thing that you will notice is that the graphics of the game look bad. Even on the HD edition of the game on the PS3, the game still looks dated. Big Boss doesn't even have facial animations during any of his in-game cutscenes. The tutorial goes on for a very, very long time, which gave me the biggest pit in my stomach. Just me in front of my monitor going, oh no, is this game bad? But no, it just has a really boring beginning.
Look up! Good! Look down! Good!
You can't crawl in the game and you can only crouch walk everywhere. I miss old Snake's back pain.
Kept you waiting, huh?
And not to mention that the tutorial treats you like a baby.
I will explain how to attack without gunfire. You may run into an enemy unexpectedly. You may not have a weapon on you, or you may be out of ammo. You'll still need an effective attack strategy. One well-placed strike and the enemy won't know what hit him. To strike an enemy, press the attack button while standing still. On my command, press the attack button repeatedly and take down your opponent. Fine work, boss!
And the game also has an auto aim function that you can just switch with a button. For me, this is easily the easiest Metal Gear game.
Fine work, boss! And stop! That's it for today!
Once you're in the game world, ready to game to your heart's content, do keep in mind that you will have to tilt your head sideways for your weapon selection. One of the many designs brought from Portable Ops. For the actual gameplay itself, it is very interesting mechanic-wise. For example, there are mid-cutscene QuickTime events that if you mess up, will restart a big chunk of the cutscene. There are also rankings for the missions that you do, promoting replayability. But not for me. A C rank is good enough. You can also replay the side missions. They're alright, nothing to write home about, just 2 minutes of content per mission. Throughout all the missions, you are able to abduct both soldiers and POWs. Although the POWs are more fun to abduct. This is the Fulton Extract system, where in any mission you can Fulton extract any incapacitated soldier or POWs just lying around everywhere. I love Fultoning in the Metal Gear games because it encourages more of a pacifist playstyle, a playstyle that I always strive for. Fulton extracts also aren't recognized by enemies and can be done in buildings, further proving that this is a baby game. Then the soldiers get transported to Mother Base where they can develop weapons for missions and get sent on missions, treat the wounded at the base, or give intel to Snake on missions. However, you can't explore the base like you can in Metal Gear Solid V, which knocks some cool points off. It is really easy to full neck extract soldiers in this game because the enemy sight is terrible. Even at 45% camouflage, they can't seem to see me right in front of them. Plus, when you throw enemies in the game, they don't immediately get knocked out, which is stupid and lame, and it fucks up my entire playstyle. It is really funny to interrogate soldiers, though.
Start talking.
Onto the boss fights and levels, and let me tell you, this game has those. Every single boss fight in this game is either a big ass vehicle or a big ass mech, making it so that I really like the boss fights or I really hate the boss fights. The two that come to mind are the Peace Walker boss fight and the tank boss fight. The Peace Walker fight is bad because I didn't research enough into launchers, but the tank fight was so utterly terrible. I looked up a guide.
From here, you should be able to eventually target the other two escorts as well.
Because of the mech boss fights specifically, you are able to build your own Metal Gear, and that is super neat. This is countered by crazy missions in the game, such as and others. The two big missions that I can remember off the top of my head are, first, the mission where you have to go through the jungle just to realize you have the wrong key card for a door.
What?
And the final level. The final level puts hair on your chest. Because the game suddenly gets extremely difficult with drones and armored soldiers attacking you, but you can shoot the guys in the ass and you'll be fine. If you want a more limited Metal Gear Solid 3 and a baby version of Metal Gear Solid V, then I would say that this game is for you. But for me, what's done here is done better in other installments in the series. But like, what about the other shiz? The game really goes into Big Boss and how he is after the events of Snake Eater, and he is not holding up well. Homie's got the boss's scar on his own body, which is an insane devotion. He isn't a war criminal yet, which is peculiar. So this game dives into Big Boss's change from Naked Snake to Big Boss. This is really cool to see, making it my favorite depiction of Big Boss in the series, going from a soldier trying to not seek victory but peace, and to Ryan Reynolds' level of fame because of his war crimes. Plus, I'm pretty sure he's homosexual because of his interactions with a guy in the shower.
Who's there?
And Kaz.
Nice pets. We were meant for each other. Guess it's time to launch some fireworks.
You're kidding, right?
Ooh, got room for two?
Kazuhiro Miller is introduced in this game and he is your main codec partner. I would say that he is the second best character because it is fun to see how Kaz interacts with Big Boss as he slowly becomes relentless. Other characters to mention are Paz.
My name is Paz.
And Ramon Galvez Mina, who is voiced by Steve Blum, which makes him instantly likable. Not to mention he has a really cool robotic hand. Paz is also super cool because she's all about peace signs and peace. And peace signs. It's fun to see the antagonist, Hawk Coleman, Death Stranding ass name, who also uses the peace sign, but for
V for victory.
Throughout the game, you meet other resistance fighters in Latin America, such as Amanda and Chico. Chico's cool because he makes Big Boss say the best quote of the game.
Nothing to be ashamed of. Pain gets the better of us all.
And he's the first child soldier that Big Boss abducts. Yo, editor, put an applause. You're talking to yourself, jackass. Thank you. What? Huey Emmerich is the father of Otacon, so it is cool to see how Otacon is better than Huey in every way. Then there's Dr. Strangelove, who is the boss's beloved, and who helped develop Peace Walker. Then we have the boss herself, living in an AI who plays off of Big Boss's trauma so well that you just want to see what happens next in the story. This shows throughout the game with Big Boss wanting to be called Snake throughout most of the game, not wanting to take the name of his mentor. The boss also pilots Peace Walker, last but not least,
Mr. Kojima.
wow, that is the best character. Peace Walker takes the same approach to music that Metal Gear Solid 3 does, where it is mostly the sound of atmosphere around you, but once you get caught or a boss fight starts, the music kicks in. I wouldn't mind, of course, if the music was good.
Here, listen to this.
In summation,
Let me set the stage. So the final level has you going through level after level of armored enemies, and if you die, you get sent back to the beginning. The final section of this level adds a helicopter that blows up your cover. At this exact moment, dread sets in. I felt as though I couldn't make the final push to the end. But then Heaven's Divide by Donna Burke starts to play, and it fills you with passion to fight for peace, not victory, to prevent the world from ending so that I can live another day.
Paddles of white cover fields, flowing and grieving tears, and all the hearts once knew.
And then I still died. But the feelings were still there.
Love can kill, love will die, give me wings to fly, fleeing this world so.
Story-wise, the game is pretty good. It is shown as a direct sequel to Metal Gear Solid 3. I mean, it's stated in the first 5 minutes of the game. It takes place in Costa Rica, where Big Boss, PMC, Militaires Sans Frontières, or MSF, is stationed in Latin America dealing with Cold War shenanigans. Big Boss made this PMC with cause to create Soldiers Without Borders, that's the translated version, so that soldiers can fight for their own ideals and not their countries. During the story, Big Boss and Kaz are approached by Steve Blum and Paz and have to save Latin America from nukes that the CIA are holding in Nicaragua. And apparently the boss is alive. What? Throughout the game, the themes of victory and peace being one and the same but also different at the same time is played throughout multiple characters. Big Boss discovers the Peace Walker Project, which is a Metal Gear run by the boss's AI mind, making it the quote-unquote perfect deterrent for a nuclear war. Experts disagree. I am experts. Then Paz gets taken hostage by Hot Coldman, and before Big Boss can be killed, the entirety of MSF drops into the CIA missile base and takes it over. The game reveals that Steve Blum was bad too, and then Big Boss fights Peace Walker one last time to stop an all-out nuclear war, aka Big Boss destroys Peace Walker by basically picking apart its brain and shooting 26 million rockets at its hull. Then the boss starts humming a song, metaphorically putting down her gun again and walking into the ocean, saving humanity. Big Boss sees this as the ultimate betrayal and now goes by the name of Big Boss officially. This doesn't even cover the side stuff with Paz being an agent for Cypher and Steve Blum's death, but mostly because that's side stuff somehow. I feel like that should be main story stuff. I really liked the story in this game because of how it deals with peace and victory, plus I like tech dystopias. From an entirely gameplay perspective, I understand why people skip Peace Walker. Everything that the game does is either done better in past or future games. But story-wise, that's a lot of character to Big Boss and brings introductions to characters who will be important later, like Paz and Kaz. Do you skip Peace Walker when playing through the series? No! It is essential. I like the game's story a lot, but for the gameplay, I wish it just wasn't made for the PSP, and instead for home consoles. Well, the HD edition came out, sure, but it didn't really do much for the game. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I cannot wait for the next video, so I won't keep the wait long. And I'm gonna move nukes to Latin America. Surely the Cold War won't grow hot.